above the energy vampire thing and culture vulture perspective of the movie. Yes, that's not wrong on a surface level, but on a much deeper level, peel back that layer of white and black and race. You just look at it as authentic soul expression battling spiritual and religious oppression. That's the theme of the movie. I just peace and high vibes. We live in the hive. Come fuck with DM9, man. We in this motherfucker. Feel me? We in this jump. About to break down the movie Sinners, man. The viral movie Sinners. About to give my review, my opinion, and break down what I saw from it. So I saw this movie twice. All right, I saw this movie twice. I saw it once. That first time watching it, I low-key had to digest it for real. And then my second time watching it was when I had a more analytical uh watch of it. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. So let me bring up my notes. Take a swig of this trash ass fucking smoothie, bro. Look, y'all ever go get a smoothie or go somewhere where they gotta make the food or something, and the person that usually do it ain't there, and then they got somebody new and they fuck your shit up, bro? I can't stand when I get my strawberry pineapple smoothie and they make it, they don't put enough pineapple to where the strawberry is overwhelming and it's just not good, bro. Fuck. You big bro, we didn't come here for a smoothie review. We came here for sinners. Looking at us. Hold on. Garbage. Anywho, so yeah, bro, the movie Sinners, man, movie was good as hell. My opinion, me personally, one of the best theater experiences I've had that wasn't uh Avatar, that wasn't one of the blockbuster or superhero movies in a long time. When I think back to my best theater experiences in the last 5, 6 years, it's Avatar, it's superhero movies, and the movie Smile. Smile was one of them ones, bro. Niggas can't lie. Smile was one of them ones for real. But this movie, Sinners, one of the best theater experiences I've ever had. And it was about it was about the power of music. I guess that was essentially the overarching theme of the movie is the power of music. And something that they say in the movie is like, this is how the movie starts off. They're talking about how some people are so musically gifted that their music has the power to break the veil between life and death, that their music has the power to conjure spirits from the past and the future. And I personally never heard that before, but what I do know is that spiritually, the ability to make good music is so fucking powerful, bro. You gotta, like, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. This is gonna be a very detailed review. All right. Music in itself, music, when you understand that everything in life is frequency and sound and vibration, all at a different rate, the ability to make music and put your voice over a rhythm and a beat that is harmonious and sounds good and is appealing to people's soul, that resonates with other people. This is why they said music has the power to heal communities, but it also has the power to attract the evil. Because, yes, you can resonate with other people's souls and your music can resonate with other people, but it's also going to attract energies. That's why we see what the music industry is today. I feel like that's something that symbolized as well, is the fact that all of our musicians, not even just no, I am gonna say our musicians, it's about our people, but musicians period, bro. Musicians period, rappers alike, they put their art out there, and what does it do? It attracts the culture vultures, it attracts the energy vampires, it attracts the record labels and the money hungry and power greedy white elites that want to eat and feast off of our art and eat and feast off of our creativity and our energy and our God-given gift for their own personal gain. And the movie being about vampires, I feel like that's really what that symbolized. That wasn't my initial thought, My mom brought that perspective to me after I watched it for the first time, but I was like, yeah, no, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. I do think on a surface level, you can take it for something as simple as that, but I'll probably get into that perspective a little later in this breakdown. But I do think on a surface level, that is the immediate and first way you can create that metaphor and interpretation from this movie is that the vampires they wanted Sammy so much because of his gift and they wanted it for their own gain, literally. Easy breakdown, easy easy meaning that you can take from this movie. But I want to start this joint off talking about the most important thing. My favorite part of the movie was Remmick or Remmick, however you pronounce his name. Honestly, one of the best antagonists I have ever seen in a movie. Nigga, like real life, bro, real life. You got to think about it. Some antagonists are not villains for real. And I know this is a general consensus about this movie because other people are texting me saying that they think the same thing, or I've heard other reviews of people saying the exact same thing. When I was watching this movie, I thought this, bro. This nigga is not a villain. Oftentimes people think that just because they're the antagonist they're the villain. No, I don't think he was a villain at all because his intention the whole time was fellowship and love. His perspective was this life, it's not true freedom. This life that you're living, you're not going to get real freedom from it. Whatever, however much money you attain, however much power you can gain, whatever it is that you think you can do to experience freedom in this world, you're not going to actually experience. They're never going to let you experience fellowship. Hell, you came here and the entire time it was a setup. This was a clan raid the entire time. The motherfuckers you bought this from, what was his name? Hogwood? Whole time he is the leader of the clan. They said he said he's the dragon of the clan, leader of the KKK. And you thought that y'all was just gonna have this motherfucking and have some motion down here? Yeah, all right, nigga. Fuckers you talking about? Them motherfuckers is gonna come spend first thing in the morning. Soon as the sunrise, they was gonna be here riding dirty, nigga. Doing drive-bys, ready to hang niggas from they nuts, all types of shit, man. You thought this shit was sweet. Y'all can't even experience fellowship and love without these motherfuckers coming to kill you. And you want to know the thing about it? He killed the nephew. Like he killed the nephew and what is it? Daughter-in-law, niece-in-law. I don't fucking know. But he killed the family members, the people at that house that the Indians came to, the first people that Remmick had slimed out, they were family of Hogwood. They were family of the KKK. They was racist too. And what did he do? He killed them. I feel like if Remmick was genuinely an evil ass motherfucker, he would have gathered all the racists. That would have been something. He would have gathered all the racists and then went over to them niggas, be like, yeah, nah, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. We want all of y'all. We want all of you niggas, especially Sammy, little young ass. I like that boy. Not just for his music, but I want to make him sing another way. I like that boy. He would have been on some different shit. Everything I love. If he was genuinely evil, he would have been on some different shit. But his intention was really fellowship and love. That's why he kept on preaching that. And it might have came off in a way that was like, do I want to die and lose my life just to be a part of this? I don't know, nigga. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it, nigga. It sound good. When they was hitting the jig, I'm gonna get into the music in a second. But when they was hitting the jig outside the club, it looked good. I ain't gonna hold you. It looked like a time. They was hitting the jig. I was in that joint like, I was lit to that motherfucker. I ain't gonna hold you. They was that. I'm gonna get into the soundtrack later in this jump, bro. Movie was so beautiful, but they might have made that lifestyle look appealing, basically saying that, look, this here, if you just accept death, this is real freedom. With vampires, your soul is trapped in this realm. That is so deep too. Your soul is trapped in this realm and you basically can't die. You can't experience the sun, none of that shit, but you can't die for real. You're immortal, right? And with this, I'll get into that in a second. But with this, being able to live like this for all of eternity and actually being able to live how you want with people who are like you and have shared the same struggle, but y'all don't have to share the same struggle along with being oppressed. Now you can share the same struggle. Y'all can resonate with the struggle that you shared while experiencing real freedom in another realm and another lifestyle in a sense. I can see why it was appealing. And that type of motive and that type of intention, it's not villainous. It's really not villainous. Not only is it not villainous, but it's not some cliche fucking vampire shit. I'm gonna take my time and get to that in a second because I keep wanting to talking about why Remmick was such a good fucking character, why he's one of the best antagonists I've ever fucking seen, bro. Let me stop cussing so much. God damn, I sound like Samuel L. Yo, I recorded a breakdown of this joint yesterday, and I didn't like the way I was kind of just like rambling and spitballing the points from the movie. I wanted to structure it more. And I said, damn, I gotta stop cussing so much. And right after I started cussing the same way I just did. I'm gonna get it together though, y'all, I promise. But yeah, I really like that his goal was something completely different. It wasn't cliche and it wasn't villainous. It was just antagonistic. You know what I mean? Hey, niggas start talking about movies and art and start using words like villainous and antagonistic. Like, come on, nigga, who the fuck do I think I am? But on to my next point about Ramik. Um, he wanted Sammy for his music. And this is why, like I said, you could take the culture vulture and energy vampire approach and really use that perspective on the movie where, damn, he just wanted to use Sammy's music for his own personal gain. That's part of it, but that's not the whole thing. You can't summarize this movie to just that because there's so much more to it. But that is definitely something that I already talked about that. I'm not going to repeat myself when it comes to that. But because of that, that is also why Remmick was such a good antagonist. And then the final fight with Remmick and Sammy, when he was kind of like giving his final, I guess, exposition in a sense. Shitty ass movie. When he was finally giving his final exposition, and I said, I gotta stop cussing. And he said, Sammy started saying a Bible verse. I don't remember. It's that our Father who art in heaven. That one. I'm not a Christian, so excuse me. When he started saying that, and Remmick, he started reciting the whole thing himself. What did that show? Listen, a lot of people might not know this. So Remmick was Irish, right? Irish people, I don't know if they got the worst end of the stick when it came to colonization on Europe's own people. I don't even want to say Europe's own people because like there's countries in Europe and they all saw themselves as separate entities. They didn't see themselves as a whole at all. But the Irish people got a very shitty end of the stick. Irish people got done very terribly. Very terribly. That doesn't mean to say that their struggle amounts to our people's, but don't think that they wasn't oppressed, enslaved, and went through some brutal colonization from Europeans and experienced some harsh acts from the Crusaders. Let me make sure I'm using the right word when I say Crusaders. Yep, launched from Christian Europe. So if you don't know what the Crusaders are, the Crusaders was basically the people of the Christian army of Europe. That's what you can call it. The Christian army of Europe, where they went around and was forcing Christianity on other people. And the Irish people, they got colonized and they got crusaded. You know what I'm saying? They got crusaded badly. And that's why Remmick, he started saying, all right, so what he was saying was that the Crusaders. He remembers a time of the Crusaders. He didn't say this verbatim, but basically what he was saying was he remembers a time of people forcing that religion on him, and how they told stories about a God in heaven and a devil below, but none of it is real. How they told stories about how man ruled over beast, but none of it is true. He was saying that we are earth and beast and everything. We are God. We are you, you are me, we are connected to everything. And then as soon as he said that we are connected to everything, huh, stake through the heart. Get this nigga the fuck out of here. Preaching all this unity, preaching all this divine unity and shit like that, nigga. Fuck out of here, bro. There's one God and he is our father, nigga. That's basically the energy that the movie took with that. It was basically saying, nigga, get the fuck out of here with all of that shit. That's basically what he was, that's basically kind of what that represented. Because as soon as he said we are connected to everything, boom, he got slimed out. But when you, if you're not a Christian and you don't watch this movie with the heavily Christian lens, you can depend. It really depends on what your level of awareness is, bro. It really depends on what your level of awareness is. I want to try to break this movie down without getting far off into my own. You know what? This is my breakdown. Actually, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, it depends on what your level of awareness is. And my personal perspective is without a Christian lens, and you listen to what he's saying, he's not fucking wrong. Now, if you're a Christian, that is not at all what God is, and that was probably extremely blasphemous, especially coming from his character to say that. But imagine if somebody like Annie had said that, had said the same words. You are beast, you are man, you are God, you are the earth, you are connected to everything. Probably hit a little different. You probably wouldn't be so quick to judge it because it's not wrong, my nigga. Annie was the hoodooist, by the way. Um, it's not wrong. My personal perspective, that is exactly what I think about life. There is no difference between me, and this is the problem that religion and how Christianity was weaponized. This is the problem that it brings, or it brought. No, it still brings today. Is the fact that people think that men have dominion over the earth, literally men, as in like a patriarchal sense at that, thinking that humans have hierarchy over the animals and that men have dominion over the earth. That's not the case in any way, shape, or form at all. Thinking that you're separate from the animals, thinking that you're separate from the earth, thinking that you're separate from your fellow man, thinking that you're separate from woman. No, we are all extensions of God. I am an extension of God. I am an extension of God. That voice crack was crazy. Fucking my pussy. I am an extension of God. The same way you, the person watching this, is, the same way your mother is, the same way your pets are, the same way the squirrel in the tree is, the same way the tree outside is, the same way the sharks in the water is, the same way the birds in the sky are, the same way the earth that we live on is. Everything is an extension of God. And even the spirits that you can't experience, even the spirits that you can't experience, the spirits that you can't physically interact with, the dead that are no longer with us are still extensions of God. There's no separation. There's no hierarchy. Everybody and everything is an extension of God, and we are all connected to everything. I'm going to. All right. Yeah. We are all extensions. We are all extensions of God. We are all connected to everything. Everything that exists is God. So he wasn't wrong for saying that at all. It was very true in this sense. Very true in my eyes. And as soon as he started saying anything like that, he got slimed out because you're around a bunch of Christianic believers and things like that. But I feel like when Remmick was saying that to Sammy, it low-key hit him a little different. It low-key hit him a little different. But his actions and what he was doing, killing people to become what he personally believed, all he wound up doing was becoming what he hated and what he scrutinized and what he was against. He wound up, what happened to him and the people he didn't like, he ultimately wound up becoming, which was crazy. Because if you can't see it, him being Irish and him wanting to use music to connect with our people, because he saw how music was bringing us together and bringing us a certain level of fellowship. How he saw Sammy's music was doing that. That's why he said, yeah, we play our own music as well here. That was his people's music. When they was outside jigging and hitting that shit, that was his people's music. And I think because he is an oppressed, his people were oppressed and done wrong as well, he empathized with what they weren't slaves, but with what the uh people and the what do I want to call them, bro? I want to call them the sharecroppers. He just resonated with what our people was going through, and he felt like he could connect, and he felt like he could save them. He felt like he could save them. That was the same reason why the Crusaders did what they did, because he felt like they could save everybody by pushing the Christianity on them. He ultimately wound up becoming what he hated, and he had a good intention, but the way he went about it was just so fucked up. Remmick was really one of the best villains I've ever watched. I talked about him for 20 straight minutes before I even got into everything else about the movie that I fucked with. That's how much I fucked with him. Something I didn't like about the movie now. The Asians. The Asians. I'll be honest. I didn't like the Asians in the movie at all. Listen, I know that Asian immigrants were a thing back then. I know that some of them were in Mississippi, but you mean to tell me that they didn't even have a southern accent at all? Like, they didn't have an accent at all. That's the shit that blew me about the Asians. That's it. They didn't have a southern accent in any way, shape, or form. And it's to the point where they honestly sounded very modern, very modern. They sounded very 21st century, nigga. Sounded very 21st century, gang. They sound like Americanized. They sound like uh Virginia Americanized Asians. You know what I'm saying? Sound like they didn't really commit to that accent for real. I didn't fuck with that. And then the Asian bitch, bro, she blew the shit out of me, nigga. She blew the shit out of me because as soon as like you couldn't keep your cool, gang, like you fucked everybody else over just because you got rage baited. Like, why don't you run outside and go fuck with them rather than sliming everybody else out? The lives that were lost because she wanted to hit the come on, motherfucker. Like, all right, bro. All right, bro. Fuck you. Fuck you. That shit blew the fuck out of me. Hey, so much for that not cussing thing, right? But yeah, Mo, that blew the hell out of me, gang. Cause they could have went about that. She could have went about that a completely different way. Through a Molotov, bruh said, "Dumbass shit out of here. You think you gonna light a vampire on fire? You ain't gonna do nothing. Fuck out of here, dumbass bitch." Like we just said that a Molotov isn't. We just said what's gonna work, and you're gonna throw a fire at him. Smack that dumbass shit away. Then ran up and put the stake through somebody's heart. I don't know if it was her husband, and then died immediately. If you were gonna die immediately, why not just run out and say F yourself rather than saying F everybody else? That blew me. Fuck her. Glad she's gone. Then I heard some people saying that they think that Asian woman, she symbolized how the Asians, they'll profit off of us and have their shops in our communities, but as soon as something starts going bad for them, they will always prioritize themselves over us and not give a fuck about us in any way, shape, or form. Something else about the movie. Let's get into performance, right? Michael B. Jordan. He cooked the shit out of that role. Everything I love. And when I listened to the Mallory Bros earlier, I listened to like half of their review earlier, and something that they were saying was with Michael B. Jordan's performances, and usually in Michael B. movies, you can always tell it's Michael B. You know what I'm saying? Like like with great actors, and don't get me wrong, Michael B, he's a good actor for real, right? But most actors, you'll find them doing a role and they'll do that role in such a way that you forget you're watching Leonardo DiCaprio. You forget that you're watching uh fuck, I forgot that old nigga's name. Rob, you called him an old nigga. You forget that you watching Robert De Niro. You feel me? You forget that you're watching Mark Wahlberg, Jake Gyllenhaal, however you pronounce his name. Right? With great actors, you forget that that's who you're watching sometimes, and you just really fall into that character that they're playing. With Michael B, you don't do it that often for real. You always still kind of see Michael B. But with this one, no, 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 no. With this one, you watch this movie and you completely forgot that the twins were the same actor. Smoke and Stack, they were the exact same actor, but as you was watching this movie, you could not really remember that. Like, you didn't really remember that this was Michael B. Jordan for real. And he genuinely convinced you that these were two different people. Me personally, I was watching the movie and I was really convinced that these was two different people, my nigga. Like, he did a great job playing twins, playing Smoke and Stack, showing like the twin dynamic. Cause I've noticed this shit with twins, bro, is there's always that calm one, and then there's the more charismatic one a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that they both can't be charismatic, but one is always a little more charismatic than the other. You feel me? And first off, they showed that very well, but Michael B, he played those two roles very fucking well. See how I avoided the curse word there? He played those two roles very well. And very job well done to him. Job well done to the motherfucker who plays Sammy. Forgot his name. Let me not even do him like that. Let me say his name on this, Shout out Miles Catton, bro. He did a great job playing Sammy in this movie. He did a great job playing Preacher Boy. The vampire shit. Said I was gonna get into this later. Listen, I saw this trailer like as soon as it came out 6 months ago or something like that. When I saw it, I immediately knew I wanted to watch this movie. I immediately knew I wanted to watch it. You know why? Because it didn't give away the whole movie in the trailer. You don't see that these days, man. You don't see that these days. Movies usually be like directors and producers or whatever, they be trying to cram everything in to make the movie as appealing as possible in the trailer. No, let the plot and the allure of the movie carry. Don't give everything away and then just try to put asses in the seats because now we know what to expect. Like I saw a Mission Impossible trailer yesterday when I saw it again, and I think they showed every single Tom Cruise stunt in the movie. It's Mission Impossible. This is a franchise, bro. All you got to do is show Tom Cruise two stunts. Let us know that it's Mission Impossible. Make the trailer like 45 seconds, and you've done what you needed to. Now I know I've seen every stunt in the movie. I've seen every fucking stunt. I saw a trailer for him yesterday where they showed him taking a needle and they showed all of these things. Like, okay, now I know that he's getting injected with something. Now I know this, that, the third. Stop giving away the whole movie in the trailer. I peeped this years ago, and it's why I genuinely avoid movie trailers. But this one I watched, and they didn't give everything away. I had no idea this was a vampire movie. I had no idea this was a vampire movie until the vampires revealed itself. When I sat in the theater and watched it and realized it was a vampire movie, I had no idea this was that. And you know why I feel like that is so good on Coogler's part, on RC's part? Because honestly, if you tell me vampires, I don't want to watch. Me personally, vampires should be cliche as hell. Excuse me. It's hard to do vampires correctly. It's hard to do vampires right. It's hard to make vampires entertaining to me. It's always the same thing. It's always cliche. I need your blood. The sun. Turn off the light. Turn off the light. Like, yo, it's always some cliche. We are the most powerful in the full moon. It's always some cliche ass dumb shit that's not entertaining. I don't want to watch. It's always overdone. It's hard to do vampires right. But this nigga RC, he actually made me enjoy a vampire movie. Would I have actually saw this movie if I knew it was a vampire movie coming in? Probably not. I ain't gonna hold you. Probably not. But because I didn't know that, and I came in and was surprised at it being vampires, and they didn't overdo the vampire shit, and the vampires' motives for what they were doing was not cliche either. It wasn't just we need your blood. It wasn't just that. It was fellowship and love, bro. Come fuck with us, man. I know it might sound crazy. I know it might not be what you want. It might not be like, no, it is what you want. It just might not be how you envisioned it. But you can get true fellowship for the rest of eternity just fucking with this shit. Fuck you think, man? That is different. That is different. But most importantly, it wasn't overdone. Listen, most movies, they can't go an hour. They're not gonna go an hour of straight dialogue and story and setting up the story and developing characters. They're not gonna go an hour into a 2 hour movie. They're not gonna go 50% halfway through into the movie without really showing something. What's the word I want to use? Exciting. They can't do that. There was nothing exciting about the first like 45, 50 minutes of the movie until Remmick got to that first house and slimed out the clan members. There was nothing exciting about this movie at all. But the writing and the setup was so good that you didn't even care for real because you knew that it was coming eventually. And because they set the story up and they set the characters up so well, when people started dying, when people started losing their life, why did I say it like that? Started losing their life. You resonated with that shit a little more. It tugged at you a little more. You felt that shit a little more because they took the time to build your knowing, your familiarity, and your connection with this character to the point where when they died, you was like, damn, bro. He was like, damn, that's crazy as shit. You felt that shit a little more. You hear me? And you don't see movies do that, bro. You don't see movies do something like that. They have to throw something exciting in. They have to flash something vampiric or something like that in these type of movies in the first 30 minutes to keep the audience's attention because their story and writing and characters and acting and all of the other important things that go into a movie besides the exciting and extracurriculars carry. I hope I said that right. I started losing my sentence a little bit there. But the everything else carried. Most movies, producers, directors, whatever the fuck, they can't let the important stuff carry the movie. They have to try to let the extracurriculars carry. But this movie, the vampire-ish, it didn't come in until the latter half of the movie. And they showed it just enough for you to appreciate they showed it just enough for I don't even know how to say it, but basically they didn't overdo it. That's honestly the best way I can say it. They didn't overdo it. They had a very good balance of it. The last half of the movie was the climactic part of it, and the first half of the movie was the build up to the climax. You're not seeing something like that, even if I say it too general like that, because that's what a lot of movies do actually. But something as slow and thought out, and the way they set up the story and the plot, it was so slow, thought out, and strategic. You're not seeing something like that, man. And that's something that I really appreciate. My mom said that she thought it was too slow to build up. I'm like, yo, how I'm my mom, I'm thinking, how the fuck could she think this? She watches, she's 62. She watches movies from the Stone Age, movies that are slow as hell and that are straight dialogue and shit. You think this was too slow? I can't even sit through 30 minutes of the movies that she watches. Sometimes. Nah, man. Originally, I thought maybe it might have been too slow, but on my second time watching it, I was like, nah, bro. This was perfect. This was genuinely perfect. Every character you got familiar with, because movies will just kill somebody off without you really developing that attachment to the character for you to fuck with them. Like imagine if they just spawned in Smoke in Annie's relationship without showing you that damn they had a kid, they lost somebody, damn they really been locked in for a while, without showing you that Annie is really Smoke's weakness, and uh Annie is really Smoke's woman, like this hardcore soldier, militant ass man. His soft spot is his woman. Imagine they didn't really illustrate that in the movie and they just spawned in with them being a couple and then they killed off Annie like a lot of movies do. It's just gonna be like, damn, poor Smoke sucks. But rather, them doing it the way that they did, you was able to see that shit and be like that tug that you were a little more like, damn, I was hoping she wouldn't go. And then he actually had to drive the stake through her. He actually had to, bro, you're not seeing something like that in a lot of other movies, and that's what I appreciate about this jump. Um, so yeah, so all that to say, the vampire shit, it wasn't overdone. It really wasn't overdone. And this movie was put together very perfectly. If you ask me, it was put together very perfectly. Um, The dance scene. Damn, I got a lot of to talk about, man. I got a lot of shit to talk about. The dance scene where all generations of music being conjured during that moment of Sammy's performance. That scene was it was my first time watching it. I was looking at it like just trying to understand like what is there a deeper meaning to this? But like no, I feel like that scene really was as simple and deep as it was literally just the power of music throughout all generations of our culture and other cultures as well, and what music has meant to us to get us through certain times, how it's brought people together, because music is something that has been a staple of all cultures. And when people have been through oppression, and our people going through what we went through, music is how we connected. Music is how we got through shit. Music is how people have been healed, is how communities have been healed. That's why they said what they said in the beginning of the movie. It has the power to heal communities and it has the power to attract evil. I never knew I had dimples, bro. I'm sorry, ADHD like shit. But yeah, the music is real powerful, and how it showed all generations like that. I feel like that was kind of a very beautiful scene to see. When they burned down the whole crib, the whole barn, I didn't really know what to think about that for real. I didn't really have a perspective on that really. Um, it was just all in all a beautiful scene. I'm not gonna have the most profound perspective on that, to be honest, but I did appreciate that scene, and I did recognize what it was supposed to mean. How music is something that transcends. This is why they said that it has the power to conjure energy and spirits from the past and present, because music is something that's timeless. Like I said, it is a very spiritual thing to create and do. And is something that's timeless. Great music can be felt regardless of whatever time period you live in, whatever generation you live in. When you heard Sammy sing, you can recognize it like, damn, nigga got some pipes on, bruh. My man, y'all like hitting that jump. It doesn't matter what generation you from, what culture you from, wherever you live, you can recognize a good sound, a good voice. Music, it doesn't matter where you are in life, what generation, what time period you live in. Music has the power to resonate with your soul. You have the power to resonate with that sound. Sammy. Damn, I went this long. Bro, my last breakdown was 44 minutes long. I'm 40 minutes in now. See what happens when I structure it a little more? Sammy chose the guitar and the music over the religion he grew up on. Even though his dad said that his music is going to bring the devil, it saved him because it didn't really save him. But he wound up using the guitar, smacked bro over the head with the jump. Even though his dad said that his music is going to bring the devil, it saved him and provided him the best feeling he ever felt. Because after he performed and he what's the word, fell into his musical craft, and he performed and just entered that flow state where he just wasn't even here anymore, just letting his gift and his God-given gift take over him. He said that he felt like he was flying. He said that he felt like he was still flying because this is the best he's ever felt. And after all that he heard from Slim and Remmick, he chose the guitar in the end. So Slim, there was a scene in the middle of the jump when at that dance scene that I was just talking about, when in the middle of it, in the midst of it, telling you, niggas start talking about art, start saying shit like in the midst. Boy, you said in the middle, let it ride. But in the middle of the scene, Slim, he started saying something to Sammy. He was like, they gave us this religion. Because once again, Slim, he's musically gifted as well. He's musically gifted as well. So he shares that same kind of like religious push and scrutiny and backlash for him using his musical talent that Sammy does. So Slim, he was saying to Sammy that they forced this religion on us to imprison us or to entrap us, something along those lines. It's not verbatim, but this is basically what he was saying. They forced this religion on us to imprison us, to trap us, and they didn't give us, they gave us this. They're talking about this religion. He said something like, they gave us this, but we came here with this. So when he was saying they gave us, when he was saying that they gave us this, he was talking about religion. But when he said that we came here with this, he was talking about how your soul incarnated with a musical gift. And he held up a guitar as he said that, because Sammy's gift was music, Slim's gift was music, and they came here with this musical gift. So listen, you might be saying this and pushing this onto me, but if I'm gonna follow my soul and what I feel is best for me and what feeds my heart, what gives me fulfillment, I'm gonna go with what I came here with, and that's my musical gift. And this is the tricky thing about the movie, is because if you're Christian, you're gonna see that as sin. But if you have a broader perspective on life and spirituality, you're gonna recognize something like that as damn real shit. You're gonna recognize that as real shit. Like, you know what, Sammy? Nah, choose you. Fuck the church. Choose you. Crazy thing to say after this is a crazy movie. This is a crazy movie to drop the weekend the Pope died. But that's just like crazy, right? Crazy coincidence. Damn, that's actually very crazy. What the irony in that, huh? The irony in that. The Pope died the weekend that a movie like this drops is crazy. If you have a broader perspective on life and spirituality, you're going to say, nah, choose that guitar, choose your calling, choose what brings you spiritual fulfillment, and don't let what other people are saying is right and wrong box you in. Because ultimately, that's all that religion was doing. That's all that. This is another thing to the movie that was brought to us, because Remmick and Sammy both shared this same struggle. Remmick, Sammy, Slim, all of them in the movie share this struggle, in a sense that this religion that was brought onto us was meant to control us, was meant to keep us down. It was meant to control you, literally, and it wasn't meant to control you for your best good. That's why this religion was brought upon you. And Remmick had that perspective. Sammy, he didn't know that really, but That's why he wound up choosing the guitar in the end, because Slim, he said what he said. Remmick said what he said. And throughout all of that he experienced, yes, he might have attracted an energy like Remmick that had the intention that he did, but nothing gave him the fulfillment or made him happy, excuse me, like playing the guitar did, like making music did. And that's why he wound up choosing what fulfilled him, because I'm not just going to go with what, even though his dad was a preacher, a pastor, whatever, I'm not just going to follow blindly with what you're saying just because you're saying that this is the word of God when it doesn't resonate with me. And then they might say, oh, that's the devil talking, that's the demons talking, that's the sinner in you talking. No, that's what you think of me. That's what you think is talking of me. No, this is just me. It doesn't resonate with me. So I'm going to do what I feel is best for me. And that's something that I think is really above the energy vampire thing and culture vulture perspective of the movie. I think that is something that is completely eclipsing that type of interpretation of the movie. Yes, that's not wrong on the surface level, but on a much deeper level, peel back that layer of white and black and race. You just look at it as authentic soul expression, and not authentic soul expression battling spiritual and religious oppression. That's the theme of the movie. I just found my intro. Fuck with me, nigga. Fuck with me. I just found my intro. Let me make sure I write this timestamp down. 48. All right. Let me speed this up, bro. Let me speed this up. I want to try to get this in before an hour. So, Sammy, man, loved his character, bro. Basically, kind of like I just said, there's a lot of, another reason this movie is good is there's a lot of room for interpretation and cause for conversation. Like, you see that you can take that surface level interpretation of energy vampires and culture vultures, or you can go for the eclipsing meaning of this movie with what I just said. Authentic soul expression battling spiritual and religious oppression. There's so many different interpretations you can take of this movie. Why it's called Sinners, I feel like it was called Sinners because of what I just said, with Sammy being looked at as a sinner for following his soul's desire and his soul's purpose that was outside of what the church and what his religion wanted him to do. He was looked at as a sinner. That's why he attracted what he did. And all of them too, you got to think about it. What was his name? His girl's name? Pearline, she was cheating. Mary, she was cheating. Like, if you just look at it through the Christian lens about about what is right and wrong and what is sin. I heard somebody say Cornbread leaving what he was doing at the field was sinning, and leaving his wife was sinning. For money was sinning. Slim music once again, sinning, smoking stacks, stealing, and all of that shit. Was sinning. I don't know how the Asians were, but basically it was saying that everybody in that main cast could be looked at as a sinner through the Christianic lens, and that's why they all attracted the energy that they did. The real villain of this movie was the racist and the people who forced their ideology on the people, because Remmick, he ain't fuck with them. Slim and the musicians, this movie was about music, right? Slim and Sammy, they didn't fuck with it. But also the racist and the people who forced, once again, were just heinous and vile for no fucking reason. They were the real villains of the movie because they were setting them up the entire time to slaughter them and kill them. They were the real villains of this movie. So that's something to take into account about this movie as well. And I saved the soundtrack for 52 minutes in. Yo, the soundtrack of this movie was fucking amazing, bro. The soundtrack of this movie was amazing. From Sammy's traveling, from him hitting that jump, from Sammy's song to the Irish jig jump that they was hitting when they was in the field. Yo, hold on. Let me see if I can find that joint on here, bro. Let me see if I can find that joint on here. Bro, on God, they slid that joint, bro. Rocky Road to Dublin. I'm gonna be playing that joint in the car. On God, nigga. Bro, the soundtrack was so teed, fool. I haven't heard a soundtrack in a movie this good in a while. This is Transformers level soundtrack. This is across the Spider-Verse level soundtrack, nigga. This is those are the two best soundtracks I've ever heard. I ain't gonna hold you. Across the Spider-Verse is one of the ones. Maybe even Us Too. This is a quality soundtrack. But on top of just the music, they call it the score in the film, when music, I guess, sets the scene and the background music. They used background music so fucking well in this joint. When it comes to these old-timey movies, you often hear that like banjo or guitar style music in the background, and they used it so well, but nothing. This scene in the movie makes me want to go see it, made me want to go see it again. This is my favorite part easily. When Sammy, when they was trying to run out the back door, right? When it started getting climactic, they all try to run out the back door. Sammy opened the jump, and Remmick was like, "Sammy!" And the electric guitar that played during that scene, go watch it again. Everything I love, go watch that shit again, bro. The electric guitar that played during that scene added to that feeling, you know what I'm saying? It added to that feeling so fucking well. And that was like the cherry on top of how well they use the soundtrack and the score in this fucking movie, bro. The soundtrack really solidified everything. It's like the soundtrack was like the detailing to a tattoo. It was like the icing on a cake. You feel me? The importance of like a bad soundtrack you can probably overlook in a movie, but a very good soundtrack. I said this last night to somebody and I had to add this into the video. This movie soundtrack was like the chiseling to a sculpture. It was the fine lining and details that you do to acrylic painting, that you do to acrylic art. It was the icing on a cake. It was the vital detailing needed to make this artwork a masterpiece. It's like the detailing to a piece of art for real. The art is not the same without those fine-tuned details of whatever it is that you're doing. This movie is not the same without that soundtrack and without the music in the background. Everything I love. This was one of them ones, fool. This is one of them ones. And the last thing that I'll end this joint with is the originality and uniquity of this movie was top tier. You don't hear many original stories anymore. The movie industry is so much, it's built on nostalgia these days. Like everything has to be a nostalgic piece, an ode to this, a live action version of this. You're not seeing original stories that are done this well anymore. Some people will do original stories, but they'll be cliche. The story will be rushed. It might not be very good writing. They just try to rely on exciting scenes and CGI in the movie. No, this was straight up a good original story. And they used hoodoo instead of immediately running to exercise your demons. Instead of immediately running to some shit like that, they used hoodoo instead. I like that. You know why? Because it was very authentic to who these people were during this time, who our people were during back then. No, you demonize magic and hoodoo and voodoo because of what you have been told it is, rather than doing your own research of what it was actually utilized for. Because you'll realize that, nigga, shit's not evil. It was just, we were just told that it was evil. And it really is as simple as that. I could dive deeper into that, but they used hoodoo to save themselves. They used hoodoo knowledge to save themselves. Feel me? Rather than just running to Christianic shit. Oh, the exorcise the demons. Because in movies like this, bro, they often, like I said, the cliche shit. Oh, they want the children. No, you invited them in. No, let's go get the reverend. No, the power of Christ compels you. Like, bro, chill out, fool. Chill out. Man, like mad cliche, mad lame, yo. But this was done beautifully well.
Yo, I went to go see the movie a third time, not gonna lie. And one more thing that I took away from this movie that I'll throw into this is Mary was also a sinner. Like everybody was a sinner in their own way when you have a Christianic lens, right? Mary was a sinner because she practiced witchcraft and hoodoo and was a spiritualist. And it's crazy because everybody scrutinized, ridiculed, and didn't agree with what she was doing, had something to say, some joke to crack about what she was doing, didn't believe in it. But when the time came, everybody believed in her, right? And her magic was real. Why? Because she said to him, "Oh, how do you know I haven't been protecting you ever since you left this motherfucker?" She said that to him. And she asked him, "Do you still got your mojo jump?" And pulled his jacket back, saw he been wearing it the whole time. He never took it off. At the end of the movie, he took it off, and now all of a sudden he gets shot and he dies. Soon as he took off her protection, soon as he took off her protection that she set onto him, he wound up dying. And he knew exactly what he was doing when he did that as well because he wanted to go join her.
It was very original, very unique. You don't see shit like this anymore. My hats off to this movie for real. Hats off to this movie, bro. Deadass. This was one of them ones. I watched this jump, and this is how I'll end this hoe. My first time watching this movie, it was with somebody else. And this honestly showed me I refuse to watch movies with somebody who is not a genuine movie lover. If you are not a movie lover, I will never watch a movie with you. If I do, it'll be on my second time watching it, but it'll never be my first experience with that movie with somebody who's not a genuine movie lover. Because yeah, people can have different opinions, but everybody I know that truly loves movies loves this movie. But the person that I went to watch it with, she was like, afterwards, like after I watch a movie that I really fuck with, you see the energy I'm on. I watched this movie yesterday, right? The energy that I leave a movie theater with after I watch a movie, I'm on a high, bro. I'm on cloud nine. I'm really excited about what I just watched. I want to geek out over it. And certain people I can geek out over a movie with, and even if I'm by myself, I'm still just gonna geek out over the movie. But you watch a movie with somebody, like if you're like me and you love movies, you watch a movie with somebody and they don't share that same sentiment. And yes, people can have different opinions, but because of that reality, I don't want to even risk somebody having a different opinion with me when I go watch a movie that I know I want to see. You know what I'm saying? So you leave that movie and they don't have the same opinion as you, their energy can bring you down in a sense, because now you can't even geek out and have that same vibe towards the movie that you know you would have, because this other person doesn't have that same energy towards it as you do. They don't want to talk about it as much as you do. That shit, like like after I left Sinners, I genuinely enjoyed the movie. My first time watching it, I genuinely enjoyed the movie. I loved it, honestly. But the person that I was with, like, they they had expectations of the movie going in, and expectations will always ruin anything that you do in life. But uh just didn't have the same energy at all, and I felt it immediately. And I knew that I couldn't geek out over the movie with this person, and kind of like fucked it up in a sense. But on Tuesday, yesterday, I rewatched it and absolutely adored it, bro. Absolutely adored it because I could watch it from a more analytical perspective, knowing that I wanted to break this down and see more to the movie. But overall, all in all, Sinners was a great movie. They have plenty of room for sequels if they want to do one. They can do a prequel with Smoke and Stack in Chicago. They can do a prequel with Remmick's story. I would fucking love that. Would be amazing if they showed Remmick in, because you never see movies about what Ireland and shit went through. If they showed Remmick through Irish's struggle through crusaders and colonization. And then, once again, you don't overdo the vampire shit. You show his struggle with it and then introduce how he became a vampire, like a real origin story for Remmick. That would be tough. Smoke and Stack in Chicago. That would be tough. The two biggest faces and names in this movie, Hailee Steinfield and Michael B, both of their characters didn't die. If they wanted to just go full on vampire shit and make a sequel with those two doing some vampire shit afterwards, you could do a sequel with that. But if this movie makes enough money in the box office, they have hopefully that can trigger them to do a sequel. They killed off all the main characters, so you know what I'm saying, you originally think that they wouldn't, but plenty of room to do so. Once again, I love this movie, bro. If you sat here and watched this whole breakdown with me, I can assume you love it just as much as I did. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Subscribe for more movie breakdowns. I got a everything everywhere all at once breakdown coming very soon. And yeah, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Fuck with y'all. DM9